Look at your smartphone screen right now and open up your banking app because while you are busy watching politicians chase red carpets on television, your purchasing power is getting absolutely annihilated. Let that reality sink into your brain for exactly 3 seconds because the raw truth is that you are living in a completely performative world where fake optics win and your actual wealth loses. You see everyone on social media talking about grand international tours and diplomatic breakthroughs, but if you strip away the massive aircraft carriers and the clapping crowds, you realize the system is just delivering zero real leverage to your personal bank account. The global elites figured out the ultimate cheat code decades ago, which is to give the public a massive red carpet ceremony and enough ego-stroking flattery to ensure everything looks stable on social media, while behind the scenes your hard-earned money quietly melts away. But let us bring this straight back to your kitchen table because this exact same performative illusion is happening to your brokerage account every single morning. You are sitting there sipping a cheap $1 gas station black coffee, watching the morning news thinking everything is completely fine while the economy treats you exactly like a gullible spectator. They feed you the illusion of a strong financial future with shiny new tech gadgets and performative market highs, while the actual cost of your rent, your groceries, and your basic survival assets climbs completely out of reach. Let us stop the bleeding right now and look at the hard data because numbers do not care about your feelings or political optics. Right now, in May 2026, the official global inflation numbers are projected to hit 3.9%, with core consumer price index data tracking at 2.8%. According to the latest government financial data, if you keep your money sitting inside a standard low yield checking account earning 0.01% interest, while real inflation eats away at your capital, you are actively participating in your own financial destruction. Let us pull out a financial calculator and do some real data-driven math that will make your hands shake if you are currently holding too much cash in a traditional savings account. Imagine you have $100,000 sitting in cash or a terrible low-yield asset for the next 30 years because you are too scared to learn how the market works. If your real return after inflation is just 1%, that $100,000 turns into roughly $134,784 over 30 long years. Now let us say you stop acting like a victim of financial theater and you invest that money properly to achieve a 3% real return after inflation. In 30 years, that exact same $100,000 compounds into $242,726. That is a massive difference of over $107,000 completely vaporized because you failed to bridge a tiny 2% return gap. Let that number hit you hard because that is the exact price of financial ignorance and laziness. But let us get even more aggressive and talk about actual wealth building through low-cost broad market index funds. The historical long-term average return of the S&P 500 index over multiple decades sits at roughly 10% before adjusting for inflation. If you invest $500 every single bi-weekly pay cycle into a core fund like VOO, which tracks the top 500 companies in the United States, or VTI, which captures the total stock market, you are putting your capital directly into real productive assets instead of performative illusions. Let us run the math on $500 invested bi-weekly over a 30-year career at an 8% conservative compounded annual return. Your total out-of-pocket contributions over those 30 years will equal exactly $390,000. But because of the magic of mathematical compounding and the relentless efficiency of the top corporations, your final account balance will balloon to approximately $1,440,000. That is over $1 million of pure generation, defining wealth built entirely out of consistent, unglamorous automation. And if you throw in a quality dividend growth fund like SAG to capture steady cash distributions that reinvest automatically, your financial snowball rolls down the hill even faster. Yet most of you are still checking your trading apps every 5 minutes wishing for a 100 times crypto meme coin payout because you are addicted to the exact same fast dopamine hit that politicians get from a fancy state dinner. You want the optics of getting rich overnight because you are too soft to handle the absolute boredom of long-term dollar cost averaging. Real wealth creation is completely unglamorous and requires you to embrace brutal daily survival habits that your friends will actively mock you for. I bought my core index positions years ago on a miserable rainy Tuesday morning while the headlines were screaming about an imminent global economic collapse, and I was sitting at a chipped laminate desk drinking stale institutional coffee that tasted like burnt rubber. My account balance turned bright green, not because I correctly predicted some massive geopolitical breakthrough, but because I automated the system and went back to work. True financial independence means you stop spending money you do not have on mid-tier luxury goods to impress people you do not even like on social media platforms. It means you drive a dingy dented 2012 Honda Civic with a mismatched bumper while your coworkers sign up for $800 monthly payments on a depreciating luxury SUV just to look important in the corporate parking lot. It means you aggressively reject expensive $150 weekend dinner invitations from superficial friend groups and instead choose to stay home cooking basic rice and beans. While tracking macroeconomic liquidity indicators, you have to choose whether you want to look rich or actually be rich, because the system is designed to ensure you cannot do both if you are starting from zero. Stop letting the performative noise of cable news and global political theater dictate your emotional state and your investment choices. The global leaders are going to keep flying around in massive private jets, having their lavish parades and getting manipulated by optics, while the structural value of fiat currency continues its steady march toward zero. Your only real defense is to secure hard ownership of top-tier cash, producing global businesses through automated index investing. Wake up, stop falling for the optical illusions, and start running your personal balance sheet like an actual, unshakable superpower. Let us look even closer at the daily choices you are making, because you think you are winning when you are actually losing. Every time you walk into a trendy coffee shop and hand over $7 for a sugary drink with a fancy Italian name, you are trading away your future leverage. That $7 looks small today, but if you compound that exact amount daily at a standard market rate over a couple of decades, you are looking at a brand new car completely paid for in cash. You tell yourself that you deserve a little treat because your job is stressful and the corporate world is grinding you down every single day. But that little treat is the exact financial sedative they use to keep you compliant and dependent on your next bi-weekly paycheck. They want you tired, they want you consumer-driven, and they want you completely distracted by flashy digital entertainment. Think about the last time you upgraded your smartphone, even though your current device was working perfectly fine. Without a single scratch on the screen, you spent $1,200 on a new model because the marketing campaign told you the camera had a few more pixels. And the titanium frame looked slightly sleeker. That is pure performative consumerism, because you are buying the optic of being a tech-savvy modern professional, while your investment account is completely bone dry. If you took that same $1,200 and slammed it directly into VO on a random afternoon, you would own a piece of Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon instead of being their financial hostage. Let us talk about the absolute reality of real estate, because everyone tells you that buying a massive house with a manicured front lawn is the ultimate American dream. You sign up for a 30-year mortgage that consumes 45% of your take. Home pay because you want your parents and your high school friends to see that you made it. You spend your weekends walking around home improvement warehouses, buying expensive patio furniture and designer light fixtures to fill up rooms you do not even use. Meanwhile, you are one corporate restructuring away from complete financial panic because you have exactly $2,000 left in your emergency fund. That is not a dream. That is a gilded cage built on optical illusions and financial vulnerability. I remember sitting in my tiny studio apartment with a leaky radiator that made a loud clicking sound every 20 minutes while my friends were signing leases on luxury high-rise apartments with rooftop pools. They were posting pictures of their city views while I was tracking the historical dividend payout growth of legacy companies on an old spreadsheet. They looked like corporate superstars making $100,000 a year, but their net worth was less than zero because their lifestyle completely swallowed their income. Today, those same friends are trapped in golden handcuffs, panicking over every single performance review because they cannot afford to miss a single week of work. Meanwhile, my automated index fund portfolio quietly ticks upward, generates passive quarterly dividends, and gives me the ultimate luxury, which is the power to say no. You cannot buy freedom at a luxury boutique, and you certainly cannot find it by copying the spending habits of the middle class. The middle class is completely broke because they are trapped in a perpetual cycle of performative consumption, trying to look wealthy to people who are also broke. Break that cycle right now by automating your investment contributions the exact second your paycheck hits your account. Do not wait until the end of the month to see what is left over, because nothing will ever be left over if you let your emotions manage your money. Pay yourself first. Treat your investment account like a non-negotiable bill that must be paid to your future self. When you automate $500 or even $100 every single pay cycle, you remove human emotion from the equation completely. You stop caring if the market is up today or down tomorrow because you are buying more shares when prices drop and building true equity over time. Look at the mega corporations that dominate the global economy right now because they do not care about your political opinions or global diplomatic ceremonies. They care about optimizing efficiency, cutting costs, and maximizing shareholder value across every single operational sector. When you buy a broad market index fund, you are instantly hiring the sharpest corporate executives in the world to work directly for your bank account. You are letting their relentless drive for profit compound your personal wealth while you sleep peacefully through the night. Stop trying to pick individual winning stocks or guessing which random tech startup is going to the moon next week. The statistics show that over 90% of professional fund managers who get paid millions of dollars fail to beat the simple SP 500 index over a 15-year period. If the elite professionals with supercomputers and Ivy League degrees cannot consistently beat the index, what makes you think you can do it while sitting on your couch scrolling through social media? Accept the beautiful simplicity of indexing, drop your ego, and let the broad market do the heavy lifting for you. Let us talk about the specific mechanics of SHD because people always ask me why I love dividend growth investing so much. It is not about the immediate yield today. It is about the consistent compounding of cash flow over a long time horizon. When a company increases its dividend payment every single year for a decade, it shows they have real sticky cash flow and a sustainable business model. You take those dividend payments, you check the box that says automatic reinvestment, and you watch your share balance grow without touching a single button. It is the ultimate financial flywheel where money makes money, which then makes even more money until the numbers become absolutely unstoppable. Imagine waking up 20 years from now and realizing your quarterly dividend distributions completely cover your monthly housing costs. That is the moment you achieve real leverage in life because you no longer need to tolerate a toxic boss or a soul-crushing corporate culture just to survive. But you will never get there if you keep prioritizing short-term lifestyle optics over long-term financial security. You have to be willing to look ordinary today so you can live extraordinarily tomorrow. Stop buying clothes with massive designer logos on the chest because you are literally paying corporations to turn yourself into a walking billboard. True wealth is completely silent. It drives a clean, older vehicle, it wears comfortable, unbranded clothing, and it focuses entirely on asset accumulation. Think about the massive psychological peace that comes with having a year of living expenses completely secured in a high-yield cash account or short-term treasury bills. When the economy takes a massive downturn and everyone around you is panicking over layoffs, you can sit back and look for investment opportunities instead of worrying about survival. That stability is what makes you an actual superpower in your own life, not the performative nonsense they sell you on the evening news. The media wants you constantly terrified or constantly consuming because an anxious population is highly profitable for big advertisers. They want you to think that global politics will solve your personal financial problems. But the truth is that no politician is coming to save your balance sheet. Your financial freedom is completely your own responsibility, and it starts with the unglamorous daily choices you make with your capital. The next time you feel the urge to spend money to impress someone or to catch a quick dopamine hit, remember the math we did today. Remember the massive $107,000 gap between a lazy 1% return and a solid 3% real return over a 30-year time frame. Remember that $1.4 million balance built on simple buy, weekly $500 automation into core index funds. Drop a comment below right now and tell me exactly what performative expense you are cutting out of your budget this week. Tell me if you are ready to stop looking rich and start actually building wealth that lasts for generations. Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss another raw, unfiltered economic reality check on this channel. Share this video with a friend who is currently burning their paycheck on a luxury car lease or expensive weekend lifestyle inflation. Stay focused, automated your capital, and stop letting the performative world play you for a fool.